Hello everybody, welcome to Crafty Soup. My name is Misty. It is the 1st of August, which means it is scrapbook kit building time for me. I am on the design team for the Counterfeit Kit Challenge, and I will leave links for you below so that you can find all the information. On their blog, they offer up an inspiration kit for us to draw from to build our own kits. And so I always go through the inspiration, and often there's links to other add-on bits and pieces to these kits that we can also draw inspiration from. And I take an overview of what I'm seeing. The first thing I saw was that the embellishments seemed very rich in color, and yet the pattern papers are very light and airy in color, so that's kind of an interesting combo. And here you can see that rich color going on again in some of the add-on pieces. I also take a look at motifs, at design elements, like here we've got some labels and tags, add-on pattern papers, and I always try to get an idea in mind for the balance of stripes versus solids versus imagery and things like that for when I go to my stash and build my own kit. Now this piece here interests me a lot, so stay tuned for a future video and I will feature that piece in there. So now that I've had a good overview of what's going on in the inspiration, I will head to my stash and build my kit. Usually when I start a scrapbook kit build, I start with pattern papers. However, I was inspired by a lot of the embellishments in the inspiration kit, and so I wanted to start there. I've been kind of missing enough die-cut embellishment pieces in my kit, so I really wanted to start there. And so I pulled out any packages from my stash that I felt like would work, that had the same mood, the same vibe, some color palette similarities, and then I kind of narrowed it down. I pulled out a whole bunch of journaling cards from various manufacturers that I think would work, some cut-apart pieces. This was a whole pack of ephemera die-cut pieces, and I'm going to throw that in there. These are a few rub-ons, and because this is all just in my stash, I don't necessarily know the brands. This one, however, is a Maggie Holmes collection that is more recent, and it has a little alphabet set in it, which will come in handy for doing my layouts. And then I wanted to think about the color palette that I've got going on here. So I pulled out embellishments that have colors in there that I want to be sure to pull into my pattern papers. So my next step here is to pull in these colors. I've got teals, navies, pinks, a couple shades of pinks, and yellow. So I'm going to be sure to pull in bits and pieces from that. And as I go, I'm showing you elements from the inspiration kit that made me choose these specific pieces. Now this wood grain one I just chose because it was the color that worked, and because I had another wood grain I pulled in a neutral wood grain, and then we've got some rainbows going on. So that kind of covers what I've pulled from the inspiration kit. Oh, I did add in another wood grain in neutrals. And then I wanted to look at motifs. So I've got some sky and cloud motifs happening from the inspiration, and I'm going to narrow this down. While I didn't like the saying on that piece, I did like the color and the rainbow, so I'm going to keep that. This piece right here has too much red in it, and it's the wrong direction, so I set that aside. Then I pull in my color support pattern papers, so these are just much more neutral background papers that work in the colors. And then I always like to have multicolor prints, so I've got a confetti, kind of a starburst, a stripe, and then I just like this one because the colored worked and the motif is interesting. The star motif is another part of the sky. We've got some flowers going on. There were cut aparts in the inspiration piece, so I wanted to be sure to get some of those in there. And then another piece with cut apart elements and tags. With my pattern paper selected, I like to put them in order based on colors, based on motifs, and kind of take an overall view of everything to see what I've got going on, see if I need to add anything else, see if I need to eliminate anything. So that upper row is really about the color going on. This bottom row here is really about the motifs I have going on. And so I'm going to take a good look at this. Now that floral had a lot of orange in it, which isn't in the rest of the kit, but I think it'll still work with bits and pieces of the kit, so I'm going to leave it. And then I moved to embellishing. I did want to grab some washi tapes, and I did throw in some colors here that weren't in the other kit, mainly that lime green, which came from one of the Vicky Bouton Starburst multicolor prints. So sometimes I will throw in pieces that may not make sense, but I know that I can put them to use somehow. And then I pulled out embellishments that had kind of a travel theme, because some of the elements in the inspiration kit had a travel vibe going on. So I wanted to be sure to catch that motif as well. I need to have alphabets in my kit, always, always. Usually I choose just 2. However, because I am running low on some letters in my kits, and because this kit is just gotten pretty big, I chose multiple alphabets so that I would have plenty of choices. So really, that is it to my scrapbook kit build. You can see some close-ups here of what I've got going on. Again, there is the variety of pattern papers that I have in this kit. And then here is an overall look at embellishments. I do have a sticker book, I have a puffy sticker, and those are both the Marigold collection from Maggie Holmes. And then I've got a mishmash of a whole bunch of other things, a lot of kind of die cut pieces, ephemera pieces, journal card pieces, some travel themes. I like to have enamel dots in my kit because I love to sprinkle those on at the end. Some old rub-ons that I haven't used up in a really long time, so let's see if I can get those used, and a little bit of washi tape to add some extra characteristic to some of the layouts. I hope explaining some of my process to you can help you go to your stash and build your kit this month. I'll see you over in the Counterfeit Facebook group for some community interaction based around our kits and what we do with them this month. I will be back on the 4th for the Counterfeit Kit Forgery on the 4th project, and I did give you a hint about what that's going to look like this month. So join me then.